Welcome to Loren Reads to You. Today we're reading The Bedtime Killer by Loren Malloy. That's me. So make sure you're following and subscribing wherever you're watching or listening to this. And if you haven't heard chapters 1 through 24 yet, and you want to, pause and save this, watch or listen to those, and come back. We'll be here. Otherwise, get comfy, get cozy, and let's get ready. Because it's time for chapter 25. Horace was smashing on his steering wheel like it was a drum set. Pantera's Cemetery Gates was blasting in his truck. He had surprised his dear Lady Julie that morning. He watched that stupid father leave for work. Horace knew that rat of a maid had run off. He watched her flee like the rat she was the day after he put her lesson in her room. He was sitting in his truck on his break when he saw her get into a taxi with her luggage. No maid, no father, no security guard. Just his lady waiting alone in her room. They had a nice, long, intimate date before he had to get to work. It was nice of his lady to let him use her shower afterwards to clean up and get ready for work. They were having a wonderful time in the shower when Horace got a call on his cell from his boss. "Listen, need you to meet me somewhere before your scheduled jobs today." "Sure, boss. Where?" "New client, man by the name of Daring. He made it rich in some Fortune 500 company that deals with travel. He and his wife want a whole new landscape designed. I said I'm bringing over my best." "Yes, sir." Horace wrote down the address on a napkin from the fast food place he got in his breakfast sandwich just that morning, and then hung up. "Sorry, my lady. I gotta go to work, but thank you for the amazing time. I'll let you continue enjoying the shower and clean up, huh?" Horace asked with a wink. Julie's decapitated body was facing away from him, crushing the front of her body against the shower wall. He looked back at her one last time and had a powerful flashback to his sexual shower fantasy with his lover, Chantel. Horace shuddered again. Julie knew how much I wanted to make that fantasy a reality and gave it to me. She's so good to me, he thought as he left the house. A short while later, Horace pulled up to the location the boss gave him. He wondered if the woman of the house will become the newest lady in his life. Little Horace was eager to find out. "Horace?" "Yeah, boss." The head of the company had stopped by. He only did that with the most prestigious and wealthy clients. "Go design Mrs. Daring's flower beds for me. I got some great compliments about your designs, especially when you did poor Miss Beaumont's flower beds last season. God rest her poor soul. Those flower beds were in Southern Living Homes and Gardens last year." Horace froze. He had killed Miss Beaumont, and his now boss mentions her. He smiled and gave his boss a thumbs up. Horace watched the boss go over to the owner, Mr. Daring. He could see Mrs. Daring through the big front window. She looked delicious, causing Horace to smile. He was sure she smiled and even winked at him coquettishly. Oh yes, she'll be his newest lover, definitely. It was completely obvious that Mrs. Daring wanted him. Satisfied with himself, he went to look at Mrs. Daring's yard for landscape and camouflage ideas for the best strategic placement. He decided the lovely Mrs. Daring would have big, beautiful flower bushes. It'll be picture perfect. Mrs. Daring will love how beautiful and idyllic it looks. It will also be designed with the perfect placements for his hiding spots. It would take several days, but he was going to tell his boss 3 weeks. More time to get to know the household schedule better. He was just about to go tell his boss when he overheard him talking to the husband. A wealthy narcissist who only cared about his prestige and the way everything looked, meaning it had better look better and more expensive than anyone else's. Southern competition was a real thing down here with their landscaping and interior decorating. If it wasn't in the latest style design or home magazine, they weren't happy. The boss was telling the husband Horace was his best and hardest worker. His fucking boss even mentioned his name and poor Mrs. Beaumont's yard last year, winning the Southern Living Lawn and Garden Award. The boss said with pride that it was all because of Horace. This would normally make a worker beam with pride. Not Horace. This was just the kind of conversation he wished no one would ever have. This meant attention, and it was a connection between him and the victim. Any attention is bad attention for him, but this was very bad. Damn. I don't ever want to draw attention from that husband. With that thought, Horace could see the husband squinting towards where Horace was. He could feel the husband's gaze even from that far away. That's the last thing Horace ever wants from one of his houses. Horace waited until the husband drove off, which only took a few minutes, then went and told his boss how long it would take. That was chapter 25 from The Bedtime Killer by Loren Malloy. Make sure you're subscribing and following wherever you're watching or listening to this. And remember, this is a book that each chapter is either from the point of the view of the police, the victims, or the killer himself. So make sure you come back and join me for chapter 26, because it gets even better. Now, if you're enjoying this book, remember you can get it on Amazon in paperback or Kindle, along with my 20 other plus books. And I'll see you for the next chapter.